Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If you're serious about analysis, you've come to the wrong pit stop. But if you want some rip-roaring fun, ridiculous banter, and a dose of non-stop entertainment, then the Big Bad Bike Show is a podcast. The podcast that will leave you gasping for air and begging for more. Tune in, rev up, and let's ignite this laughter-fueled race to the finish line. If only we were really that fucking good. Anyway, that's what ChatGPT said. If you're listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss the podcast or a video that Ash has so kindly made. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can please leave a comment. Perhaps you can let us know where you're listening from. You can get in contact with us by sending us an email to podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk. Don't just walk up to one of the podcast hosts and tell them what you think. Actually send an email to podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk. I would also like to know how you feel. Anyway, I'm the Big Bad Biker, and I am joined this week by Up North Biker Ash Hull.
Hey there.
And as always, well, not as always, because he's finally made an appearance after a week's hiatus, it's Moto Chippy. Chip Hat.
Hello.
Did you have a nice week off?
I wasn't off. I was on a night shift, and if you'd have waited 24 hours more, I could have joined you.
Well,
so
no,
impatient.
You told us you were working Wednesday night.
No, I was off Wednesday. Tuesday.
No, you told us you were working.
Tuesday night was my last one.
You said Tuesday and Wednesday night. That's why, because we would have ended up recording on a Thursday.
No.
Yeah, you definitely told us you were working on Tuesday night.
Well,
That's
I wasn't.
what you said.
Tuesday was my last night shift. I was available on the Wednesday.
Well, you should have been more clearer with your
But
communication.
you couldn't wait for me, could you?
No, I think you're wrong there, Chippy. I'm going to go back through the chat.
Go through the chat.
You told us you were working Wednesday night. Anyway, recording on the Wednesday night is a bit late, isn't it?
Well, it is a bit late, but I could have still made it.
Ash, while he's looking through his phone to try and come up with some sort of evidence that doesn't exist, do you want to go in and tell us what's coming up in the show?
I will go in and tell us what's coming up on the show. So, as usual, it's the all-new Who Am I, and this week it's Sam. We're going to be looking back at the World Superbikes in the Czech Republic and looking forward to the MotoGP at Silverstone.
And I may be giving a little bit of feedback on my time spent at the Armoy road races too.
Yeah, which I'm looking forward to hearing about. Obviously, I've seen the whole thing about Dunlop finishing the race and going straight to the pub.
Yeah, that's been out there.
that was quite funny. Just sod the winners' circle. Just head straight to the pub and get a pint.
Well, he was in the village. We'll go into that later. We'll start talking about it now. We'll run through a catch up first. We'll see what Chippy's got to say. Chippy, what have you been up to this week?
Well, I've been off work this week because I got family up. So yeah, they've only been up a couple of days. I've also booked my next blood donation. So, Ash, are you going to join me for that one?
No.
Can't believe you're so scared of needles. Because you're scared of needles, man. Just do it.
Yes, I don't have 7 tattoos. I'm so
It's
scared.
a different sort of needle, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a needle that penetrates inside your body. That's the one you don't like.
What, and you think a tattoo needle doesn't?
Not as
much.
Hold on,
you're two people that don't even have tattoos. Shut your mouth.
No, I don't have any self-confident issues. That's why I don't have any tattoos. I don't have any self-confident issues. I'm a confident man. I don't need a tattoo to make people think I'm some sort of hard man or anything.
Neither do I. I just like tattoos.
That means I must be hard.
I just can't justify spending that sort of money on a tattoo when there's other things to spend money on.
Yeah, motorbikes and tattoos. What more is there to spend money on?
Also, if you look back in that chat, I've just provided evidence that I did not say I was working Wednesday night. I sent a message on Sunday saying I'm working tonight, tomorrow, and the night after. So that was Sunday night, Monday night, and Tuesday night. So I was free on Wednesday. I'll accept your apology in writing.
Well, then
Wednesday was a bit too late. Anyway.
You should communicate better then, shouldn't you?
We should just learn to read.
Sorry, I'm not going
Wednesday
to do that.
night's too late to do the podcast. It's too late to do it on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I know. But I can't help it. I was at work. I can't say, sorry, I'm not coming in. I've got other things to do.
You said to us, weeks before, you were bragging about being on night shift. Oh, look, I'm on night shift. And at no stage at that did you ever think, maybe I should try and get a shift change so I can host the podcast. You never done that?
No, I didn't do that.
You're just like,
anyway, Ash, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? I went to a farmer's show this weekend, which is pretty cool.
Oh, God.
I love a good farmer's show.
Were you in your tweed? In your stupid hat?
I wasn't in my tweed.
I bet you were wearing a flat cap.
Wasn't wearing a flat cap.
Were you walking around in stupid Yorkshire accent?
No,
hey,
I was going around seeing some cows and some osses and, sheep.
Were you trying to act like a farmer at any point?
No point was I trying to act like a farmer.
Were you trying to act like some sort of landowner?
No,
I'm a hobby farmer. Ooh,
not one bit. Not one bit. And do you know what? I love them sort of shows. They're really decent.
What's good about them? Tell us what's good about them.
Well, you get
apart from the fact you get to see cows, you get to see.
Well, it's just I don't know. I've grown up with that kind of thing, being in Yorkshire, so it's kind of just something that makes me feel like I'm back home.
What, cows?
Yeah.
And sheep.
Yeah, and sheep.
You grew up on a farm?
I love the proper smell.
You are?
Did you grow up on a farm?
No.
Did you grow up near a farm?
Well, near lots of farms.
Yeah, so I grew up near lots of farms too. I love the smell. That's just going to sound really strange, but I love the smell.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I do as well.
Like slurry. Like that smell of shit. You come out in the morning and you can smell it in the air. I love it, that country smell.
Yes.
We go out walking sometimes and I'm like, smell that. Everybody else is ready to be
went
sick.
round and tried a bit of gin and a bit of wine and stuff like that. It was good.
Do you know what's how whenever he's going to his farmer's market he's trying to sound more Yorkshire? It definitely is. He said like, I went round. I can't believe you didn't put your tweed on or your flap cap. You let yourself down there doing that.
No, I'm not wearing that. It's too hot. Bloody boiling. Apart from that, Sam, you were right. You were correct. You said on, I can't remember which podcast it was, you said, give it 6 months' time and you'll have a different bike. And yes.
I guaranteed it.
You guaranteed. And you were absolutely right. I've traded in the Blackbird and I've just bought myself a Kawasaki GTR 1400. And I'm glad I did because it's an absolutely brilliant bike. It's so comfortable.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. I don't think we've ever mentioned a GTR 1400.
No, so I know what we've mentioned is an Africa Twin.
Most people probably know what it is, but it's a ZZR that's sold as the tricks and mods for
it's just a ZZR 1400 engine which is detuned to give more mid-range for touring. And then it's got all your touring bits on it. So instead of it being a hyper bike, it's like that's a hyper tourer, if you like.
It looks really nice. I like the look of it. It looks nice and clean.
It's really class. It's a really, really nice bike. Picked it up today, and immediately when I started riding it, I think it's the easiest bike I've ever ridden. I got on it and immediately felt like I knew what I needed to do to ride it, which was really nice actually. So.
This is going to sound really silly because they're completely different engines or sizes, but is there any familiarities between the 1400 and the 400 that you read, because they're both Kawasaki? Is there anything that comes through on it that just feels Kawasaki like you know it's a Kawasaki, or is it
just the look of it? I'd say very like straight lines and kind of Kawasaki's to me always look like if a doctor had a scalpel he would name that Kawasaki because it just looks sharp.
I don't know where you're getting that analogy from, but fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've named my scalpel Kawasaki.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's sharp looking, and I think Kawasaki's have always been like that, really. So I'd say take that similarities away from it, really. But as in riding style and stuff like that, completely different.
Well, they are completely different engine sizes, so I thought maybe there might be some sort of little traits that you get from one to the other that maybe you pick up on regardless of engine size or whatever, but like you said, it's just the look of it, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's a great bike. I can't wait to munch some miles on it. I really can't.
Have you got yourself a name for it yet? Because you were asking about names.
Do you know what? I'm toying with Venom because it's big and it's black and
God.
You know, is a cool.
Chippy, you've got to name your bike.
No, you don't.
You've
Yes,
got to
you
name
do.
your bike. You've got to name your vehicles, Chippy.
You got to name
So
your vehicles.
stupid.
Even if it's just something crap, you got to name your vehicles. You got to name them.
You don't. This is
Like,
where we really disagree on this.
A lot of my mates if they'd had like, let's say they had a van that just kept going, it just kept going and going and going, they almost always guaranteed to call it Bertha. It was always called Bertha. Big Bertha just keeps
Big
going.
Bertha.
They always. I had one mate called his van the War Wagon because it just went through everything, no matter what happened. He took it up country lanes, he took it through fields, took it into some ropey places. We went camping in it, or he took it camping, and we were going over like other people were getting stuck and the wheels were spinning, and his old Citroen van just kept going and bumping along. He just called it the War Wagon. You got to name your vehicles. You got to call them something.
Well, I call mine Ford Focus because that's what it's called. That's what it's called in the
what you call
factory.
it?
So boring.
You are so bored. Why did you call your dog Arthur? Why did you not call it? What sort of dog you got?
It's a border collie.
We've been through.
So why don't you call it? Why don't you call it border? I'm going to keep coming through it. That's my argument. Why don't you call it border collie? Why don't you call it black and white border collie?
Well, no, because it's a living thing. It needs a name. A car isn't a living thing. It was called Ford Focus in the Ford factory. So it was given a name.
Tell me this. If your battery runs out and you rung the garage, what would you say about your car?
I'd say it's a blue Ford Focus.
No, but
needs
your
a new
battery's run
battery.
out. Why do you need a new battery?
Because it's my Ford Focus needs a new battery because it's knackered.
Just say it. No, just say it. Come on, say the word. You know what I'm looking for.
I don't know what you're looking for.
Your battery's dead.
Yeah.
So if your battery's dead, it means it hasn't got any life. So therefore, in some sort of weird philosophy, your car is alive and your bike is alive. They're living things. They become a part of you. You and it blend into one entity.
It doesn't have a soul.
You're so boring, mate. You're so boring.
I've been thinking maybe Betty, just Betty, because Black Betty.
Black Betty, yeah.
Whoa, Black Betty, bam, blam. Yeah, I'm thinking.
I
Betty.
think Venom's a decent name. I think that's alright.
It
I
is,
think
but
that's
it's
so sad.
But I like the name Alastor. I like that one. The one I shared with you earlier.
Yeah, I'm not keen on that.
It was what was the name of it? It was Hades' horse that he used to ride around hell in.
Yeah.
But then again, Alastor, if you work out, it's just called Alistair. No, my bike's called.
My bike's called
a bike.
Alistair. No, that sounds crap. Anyway, Sam, what have you been up to?
Well, as mentioned earlier, I went home this weekend, back to fatherland. Make it sound like I'm going back to Russia or something. Yeah, but I went back home, back to motherland, back to Northern Ireland, and I wasn't going back there for any other reason. Well, I went back to see my family, obviously, and I did see a lot of my family, and it was nice to see them. I got to see my mum and my dad. I've not seen them in a long time. I got to see my brother on his birthday, so that was also really good.
What, as in Big Dazza?
No. My younger brother, it was his birthday.
Right.
He actually came and picked me up at the airport, so it was a nice birthday for him. I went to the Armoy road race, as mentioned, but a lot of my family's from Armoy, so I got to see aunts and uncles and cousins, and yeah, I had an absolutely brilliant time, fantastic time. It was nice to go to a road race again, because that's how I grew up, like obviously in the countryside, like you kind of alluded to, but used to go to road races all the time, so it was nice to go back to one.
How drunk did Jace get?
Well, we just did kind of session drinking, day drinking, so we never really got really drunk at any one time. We just,
drunk Jace is hilarious.
Well, on the Saturday night, we all ended up in the Armoy Armada, and we all got absolutely lit, so there was a few of the riders there. I remember speaking to Dom Herbison very briefly, and he probably going home thinking them guys are fucking mental. You know me. The music come on, I had my top off, swaying around my head and everything going mental. Yeah, it was a good weekend though, so just to go into it in a bit deeper and what happened. So on the Thursday, we weren't there on the Thursday because we flew over, but on the Thursday I think they had like classic bikes going around, so I'm not really arsed that I missed that. But on Friday, we got there about 9:30, 10 o'clock. We got a little place. We stood near a bar, funnily enough, which was close to, there's a corner before the start and finish called Kennedy's Corner, so it was just before it. And it was good. You got to see them lean into the corner, and they were like almost getting the knee down, but not quite. But they were going past us at a good speed. We watched a bit of the practice there. I'm sure people that know the track, if they're listening to this, they'll know where I'm at. And then there was a bit of a lull, so we walked through the fields, which is always nice to do in a road race. I noticed that the short circuits and the British Superbikes and stuff, it's not the same, so you get to walk through like the inside of the track, and you can go from one place to another. It's always a bit of a dander through the fields. And then we went over to a jump that was called Dunlop's Leap. And got to watch them going over there. Davy Todd going over it was insane, especially when you're in a slow down lap, because they were doing the practice and the qualification, and he was over there doing these big wheelies. But my only problem with that was he didn't have a speaker. And because there was no speaker, we didn't know who was going fast and who wasn't. We just seen bikes going by, which was also fun. But have any of you ever been to a road race before?
No, I've never been.
No, never.
Yeah, you kind of rely on the speakers, you know what I mean? Especially because they send a lot of different classes of bike out together. Like they might send like 125s out with Moto 3s and like 400s and stuff. They all go out together, and even though they're on the same track, and it might look like they're racing for position, they're maybe not even racing with each other really, because they're in different sized bikes. So you know what I mean?
Is there not a is there not like a live timing website or anything like that you can go on?
I couldn't really find any, no. No. So that's not to say there isn't one. It's just said I never knew one. Couldn't really find one. But yeah, you kind of rely on the speakers and the tannoy to let you know what's doing. But on the Friday there was 2 races just before the end of the day, so we tried to find somewhere we wanted to be on the Saturday, and we thought we'll get there before the races start. So we went down to Church Corner, which is it's like a bit of a chicane. So they come down a hill behind you. You can't see it because they're coming through the trees. You come down a hill, and then when we were standing just opposite the church, you see them coming round the left hand bend, and then they come just in front of you, and then they go down a right hand bend. But as they go down they come around a right hand bend, then down a left hand bend. But as they go down a left hand bend, they're going downhill slightly as well, and then they just go behind the church and out of view. And they get some speed up coming around there, probably doing about 60 miles an hour. Scary.
Yeah.
And flying around there, and then Michael Dunlop coming around there at one stage was going past back markers, and they had like a 4, 5, 6, maybe even 10-second lead, and he was taking no shit from nobody. He was just flying by people. Like, he was taking lines that he just didn't think was possible to take. The guy was just on fire. He was absolutely insane. Like, nobody could touch him. Nobody could touch him. He went out there and he went out in his little orange Super Twin, and he came around the first lap like 3rd or 4th. And then he came around the second lap, and I think in the second lap he still hadn't taken the lead, and somebody said to me like, oh, he's maybe going to struggle with this one. And I said to him, just get time, because no way, nobody's going to catch him. And then he came round, I think it was like the 3rd lap, and he was just out on his own, disappeared. But yeah, he won every race he was involved in. Like I said, nobody could touch him. Davy Todd couldn't touch him, Dean Harrison couldn't touch him. Another few riders that did pretty well, I thought were doing pretty well, was there's a guy. I've got the details on here. I'll just look up rather than just try and make names up. But I know Mike Brown was doing well. I know Mike Brown that nearly won the TT race.
Yes.
He's a good rider. I was standing next to a guy as well, and he sounded like he was from Cork, and I had my sister's camera, and every time Mike Brown came round, he's like, oh, try and get a good picture of him now. Try and get a good picture of Mike Brown. And I was like, yeah, I'll do my best and try to get pictures of Mike for him. Yeah, another rider that won a couple of races was Anthony O'Carroll. Barry Davison did quite well. Mike Brown. These are just some names I'm picking out for people that I thought had a good weekend. James Chalk. Yeah, and there was one last there from Czechoslovakia, and she got a lot of attention. Veronica Hancock-Jova.
I've read her.
She's this big, tall Czech Republican lass. Fast as fuck too. She came 3rd in that junior support race. Like,
Yeah.
she was getting
That's
her.
really
Like,
good.
I don't know. I don't want to seem sexist, but every time I see a woman doing it, I'm just more impressed. You know what I mean? I don't know why. It's just because you never see women doing it. That's why. It's because it's more. You're more in awe. You see all these young men doing it all the time, and you see a woman doing it. It's just like, Jesus, they're fast. Chippy. I'm looking at you. I at you last week.
Yeah.
Was Peter Hickman there?
No, Peter Hickman wasn't there. The only ones you would recognise from British Superbikes was, well, Michael Dunlop. You wouldn't really recognise him that much from British Superbikes, but he's there. And Davy Todd and Dean Harrison. Dean Harrison was racing on the Russell Racing Yamaha.
Yeah.
I think it was. I don't know if that's him with that team for good, but that's who he was racing with. And the whole event from start to finish, honestly, was so well run. The guys at Armoy done a fantastic job, like really, really good. It was brilliant because it was just as soon as you could hear it, and we could hear it in the speakers where we were at Church Corner. One race was like 2 or 3 laps in. All the races were 7 laps. One race was 2 or 3 laps in. You could hear them saying, "Can the next riders get to the track?" And as soon as one race was over, the next one was started. And they just kept it going and they kept it flowing. And they gave them so loads of time because there was a little bit of rain. And the classics come out, and lo and behold, they spilt oil because they always do. And they had to get it tidied up. And they had this little magic spray. We don't know what it was. I was looking at Jason and I was like, "What the fuck's that they got? They got this magic spray. They just sprayed it in the oil and it disappeared." And then they went round with this wee swingo of a thing. Like a wee swingo where they had a tank in the back of it and they had sprayers at the front and they were going around the track spraying, and it was just whatever it was putting on it was just, like, you know, mixing with the oil and it wasn't there anymore. You know the way you usually use dust? I don't know what this oil is. And I was like, why are they not using that in the British Superbikes or anything else? We think maybe some local farmer near our boy has come up with some sort of thing and he's not going to let anybody else have it. Yeah, but the Armoy road race, they did an absolutely fantastic job. It was really, really good. Really, really well ran. The rain didn't affect it. The oil didn't affect it. There was, from what I can remember, there was only really one bad crash that was bad enough to bring out a red flag. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. I say nobody was hurt. There were a few riders hurt throughout the day, but when I say nobody was hurt, I mean inverted commas, nobody was hurt. Yeah, it was really good. And then, like you mentioned earlier, Ash, the open race, the last race of the day, Michael Dunlop was miles in front of everybody. And then whenever they were doing the slow down lap, he didn't come by us. All the other riders come by us, and we were like, "Oh, where's Michael Dunlop?" We all thought maybe he was just taking his time, and then they said through the speakers that Michael Dunlop's having fun in Armoy, putting on a bit of a show. So he turns up outside the Armoy Armada, pulls a burnout, puts his bike up against the wall, knocks the door, goes in, still in full kit, comes out, helmet off, pint in hand. Everybody's round him trying to get pictures. Oh, brilliant, absolutely class. Atmosphere was amazing. And then that just set up the party atmosphere for whenever, because we went up into the Armada and sat down and the whole place was just bouncing by this stage. Then my mate says he's going to go home, and he's like, "Oh, I got us left home," and I was like, "We're staying." He's like, "How are you getting home?" I was like, "I don't know how I'm getting home, and right now I don't care. I'm just going to stay here. Where's the best place to be in the country at the minute. This is it."
Yeah.
I had a great time. I'm not even doing it justice what I'm saying. Like, it was such a good event. It was so well run. I've been to motorbike races, like road races, that are a hash. And you just think to yourself, what are the organisers doing? Why are they not doing this? Why are they not doing that? But that one there was just so well run, so good.
Was Michael
really
Russell
happy
there?
with it.
I didn't check to see if he was
No.
there. No.
I don't think he was there because I think he would have been doing the Southern 100 even though it was cancelled. He would have been doing that. And he might be doing the Manx. Is he doing the Manx?
I don't know.
Manx TT? No, he wasn't there because if he'd have been there, I definitely would have wanted to try and see him.
Yeah.
But hopefully,
sounds like it was a good weekend then.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, next year, more of the road racing can go on and there'll be a lot more of that.
Yeah.
Because one last thing I want to mention, I was happy to notice how many people were wearing lanyards because the organisers had tried and pushed people to pay £30 to go. Because usually you would turn up and you would just ask you to buy a programme, and some people wouldn't even do that and they would just watch the race for free. Which is fair enough because it's a road race, it's public roads, but they tried to push it for people to buy lanyards, pay £30, you get a programme, you get your lanyard, you get to know that you've actually paid in and you're supporting the sport. And there were lots of people with lanyards on, so hopefully hopefully all that built in next year, we can have a good road racing season, because we've got Michael Dunlop there and the man's insane. You got Mike Brown coming up as well. You got young riders like that. You know, Anthony O'Carroll. You want to see these riders coming up.
Did you get an lanyard?
Yes, of course I did.
Oh, that's good. Chippy wouldn't have.
I would have.
No, he wouldn't have.
I
Chippy
would
would
have.
not.
You are tighter than I am.
Not a chance I am.
100% you are tighter than me.
It says the guy that wouldn't buy a burger at BSB.
No, because it was 10 quid. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, but that was for food. You can go without food. I just drank all day. That was it.
You would not have bought a lanyard.
To be honest, that's the going rate.
You won't even give blood, and that's free.
That's mine.
Yeah, you won't give
off.
blood, Ash. That's pretty tight. That you won't give blood. That's disgusting. Actually, it's more than tight. It's disgusting. That you won't give blood.
The thing is, he'd take it
don't
if he
care what
needed
you
it.
think.
He'd take it.
Of course I would.
Yeah.
Actually, Ash, I'm going to throw it out here. It makes me ashamed to know you that you won't give blood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go fuck yourself. You should give
Okay.
blood.
Well, I've
Give
given
blood.
blood
Like
once,
Chippy said,
but that's not good enough for you.
no, you're supposed to give blood every time you can.
I've done it once.
My old
if I ever
man,
need it, I've
one-
paid.
My old man has made a lot of mistakes in his life, but one thing I'm definitely proud of him for is he's got a little plaque on the wall because he gave blood 50 times. Now, he gave blood more than that, but he's got a little plaque for giving blood 50 times. He saved a lot of lives doing that. The man's a hero. You're just sitting there, you won't even give him a pint of your blood. You're disgusting. You disgust me. Listen to me as if I've only given blood like 3 times. I know, I've still done it.
I don't care.
I would do it though.
Don't care.
Anyway,
Chippy's
moving on.
right though. If you need blood, you'll be the first on the queue. Right, moving on. What is the next part I need to see?
Feedback. We had any?
Oh, Chippy, you weren't here last week and you were listening to the show. Do you have any feedback? Do you need any comments? Are you thinking,
To be
that's
fair,
so amazingly
I
done?
was expecting to have to do like a correction section like I did before. And actually, you got most of the stuff. You did it quite well. So I didn't really make any notes for that. The only thing I'm going to correct you on is you said I was sexist. I'm not sexist.
Yeah, we did say you were sexist.
Yes, you
'Cause
did.
are sexist.
I'm not
You hate
sexist.
women.
I don't know. I want women to do well in motorsport.
No, I don't think Chippy. We're just winding up. Chippy's not actually sexist. Just
No.
winding.
No, he's not. We do just wind him up a little bit.
Yeah.
But you do have that bet that Anna Carrasco's not going to get a point. You jumped in that really quickly.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's not because she's a woman. That's because she's really bad at racing.
she's a world champion.
Yeah, but she's... Back then she was good. Now she's not. And anyway, if Ash loses that bet, for any new listeners, he's got to give blood.
Oh yeah, so for anybody that's tuned in for the first time, that is a bet, like. So, and what do you have to do, Chippy?
If she does get a
what?
point, I have to do my CBT and get a motorbike.
That is 1 point. If she gets 1 point, if she finishes 15th
I'm
in
losing
one
faith
race,
now. I don't think it's going to happen.
so you will be given blood.
Or you
It
kicked off
sounds
the
dirty.
podcast.
Yeah. Oh, I'll start my own podcast.
Yes. Anywho,
Anywho.
should we get on to the Who Am I's?
Shall we?
Yeah, we didn't have any other feedback. Nobody else is emailing us. Thanks, guys. We just do all this out of good of our health. Just sit here for 2 hours a night waffling on. You don't even send us emails. Thanks. Anyway, yeah. What are we on to next? To Who Am I?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's Chippy's.
It was mine last week. So the clues were, I was born in 1982 in Japan. I have raced in MotoGP, World Superbikes and British Superbikes, winning 3 championships. And I have won the Suzuka 8-hour race in 2008.
Do you want me to say it, Chippy, because you can't pronounce it?
Please, I'm having to Google him now because I can't remember how to say his
So,
name.
off the top of my head, I think his name is Ruichi Kianari.
That sounds about right, yes. Kianari, yes.
I would never
Yeah.
have got that.
That's the only problem with
See, the
picking
thing
a
is-
Japanese rider. I can't then pronounce the name. But I thought we haven't had a
thing is,
Japanese
I-
rider yet, so...
I had an idea who it was. I thought it was like, I can't mind who I said it was. Abe, Norifuma Abe, and I can't mind who else I said. And I could see a picture of him standing. I think he was wearing like a Honda top, and he was standing there with a championship, and he had short hair at the time. And I could see him in my head. Like there's this picture of him which I've seen on Wikipedia before, and I could see him, and I was like, I know who it is, but I could not get the name to come into my head. And then eventually, I had to fucking Google it, didn't I? I had to Google it.
Yes.
But I wasn't really kicking myself because it's like you say, Japanese names, you know. Growing up in County Antrim in Northern Ireland with my Irish tongue, I never really got my tongue around Japanese names, so I was like, yeah, fair enough. It was my turn to do the Who Am I this week, and I will admit, I let things run away from me a little bit this weekend. I was meeting family and seeing people I hadn't seen in years and catching up with lots of friends and getting merry, maybe a little bit too merry and having a few too many drinks, and I was introducing people to people, and I was just having an exceptionally good time and losing myself back home, and I forgot to do any sort of prep for the podcast. So when it came to my Who Am I this morning, I just had to think of somebody, and it is exceptionally easy, and for that I apologise. However, it is good every now and again to make it a little bit fun. So
Ash, have you got this, or are you Googling it now?
No, I'm not. My hands are here. Look, I'm just reading it.
Everybody should get this one. It's so easy, right? And I want everybody to email in. If you're listening to this and you know it, just email in. It's easy. If you don't email in, it's because you don't know it and you're sad. So email in. Right. I was born in New South Wales, Australia. I had 45 starts in MotoGP, but I only won one race. And here comes the clue that everybody's going to give it to everybody. I'm a 3 times World Superbike champion. So I'm from Australia and I won the Superbikes 3 times. Who could that be? I wonder. Anyway, if you think you know who it is, send an email to podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk. That's podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk.
Have you got this, Ash?
Not yet, no.
Ah. I thought you'd have got this.
No, I'm going to have a think.
Google.
Well, I'm just trying to think of Australian riders, really.
Right.
But there you
Well,
go.
while you're thinking, will we take ourselves on to the news?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm ready. Right. So again, starting off with the bad news and going to good. That's going to be my theme from now on. This isn't really bad, but it's not. It's sort of sad.
Yeah. Usually when you say that, we're talking about like something really bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just enlighten everybody. It's not that bad.
No.
Are we going to have some jingles?
Yeah, can we have some jingles? You didn't put them on last week. That's my other feedback. You didn't put any jingles on the news.
I've not put jingles on for a couple of weeks. It just goes to show you how often you listen to the podcast.
Well, can you put them back on, please?
No, because they're shit.
No, they're not. Put them back on.
They
He
are
wants
shit.
his bongs.
They're shit. The bongs are crap. They make the podcast sound so cheap and tacky. Bong.
Well, it is cheap and
really
tacky.
Bad. I know. But I was trying to sound a bit more professional.
Right.
If you find me, you find me a better bong, I'll put the bongs on.
I'm not doing that. Just use that bong I gave you. Right.
No.
First bit of news. Bong. Davey Todd has announced his departure from Paget's Honda after competing on the bike for the final time at Armoy this weekend. Now, these news articles I haven't written very long because, a bit like you, Sam, I left it to the 11th hour, so I've kind of just written bare minimum.
We're so professional.
Oh, yes.
I've got
In
family,
fact,
so I've
what
got
else
no
you
excuse.
I think this
But what else are you
week
gonna say?
is probably... I've probably done the most, I reckon.
It makes a change.
Well, it's about fucking time.
Yeah.
I mean, we can speculate
So,
on where he's going to... Because, someone's going to have him. It's just a case of where's he going to go. I mean, there's the McCam Yamaha seat in BSB.
Yes. There is.
Potentially.
There's the DAO.
There's,
Because
yes.
Dean Arson's moving.
That's a good shout, actually. That's a really good shout.
Mm-hmm.
I
They
like
could
that
just
shout.
do the swap.
They
Maybe Dean Harrison will go to Paget's. Malenko's Paget's.
I really like the thought of David Todd going to DAO. That sort of made me tingle a bit.
I don't know, but obviously he's going to want to go. He's going to want to go somewhere that gives him the road racing potential as well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I know any bike gives him that. But you want a team that's got experience in it.
Yeah, exactly.
You want a team that's going to help him in the TT, help him in the Northwest, the Irish roads, and give him a fairly competitive bike in BSB. That's what you want.
Yes.
And that's what Dean Harrison's on. So.
Yes.
So they're already they're like a ready-made pizza base, which you use.
I do not use a ready-made pizza base.
Just a little nibble there.
Yes, I will nibble at that.
We got a live one. We got one, boys.
Anyway,
Right,
the
next
next bit of news. Bong. ITV have announced that they have cancelled their planned free-to-air coverage of the British round of the MotoGP at Silverstone this weekend. It will still be shown live on TNT Sports. Now, I will admit, I'm a little bit desperate for news this week. There isn't an awful lot out there. But basically, ITV were planning, I think they were just doing one this season to give basically a free MotoGP race to anybody that hasn't got BT Sport or TNT
really
or whatever it's called anymore. To get people involved, so people can watch it, hopefully get more fans in.
Like Formula 1.
Yeah, well, I guess they do something like that. But yeah,
I'm thinking no. Do you think somebody else has got involved and said, why are you showing the British or why are you showing the British MotoGP? Why do you not show the French or the German or the Australian? Why are you showing? Because if there's one, I know you might think we'll show the British because it allows Brits to see it.
yes,
But if there's one race you don't want to show, it's your home race because that'll stop people going to the track.
yes, I agree with that.
Suppose.
It's about like not airing football at 3 o'clock on a Saturday or Sunday, whenever it is, because it stops people from going to the game. I think that might be a reason.
Yes,
And maybe now it's too late for them to negotiate some sort of deal as to show another MotoGP. Maybe they just didn't think of that.
yeah,
Or maybe they're just a bunch of twats that would rather show something else rather than motorbikes, because motorbikes always take the back seat.
or something like
Oh,
that.
wow. What was that? There used to be a show on years ago that used to show sports on a Sunday, and they would show all the sports that was on throughout the week. And it never showed motorbikes. Never. And it always showed real crap stuff like equestrian and horse racing. And I was, God, I need to know what that show's called. I'll have to text my brother and ask him. He'll tell me. Not right now, but I'll have it next week what that show was called. Oh, we could watch it back on YouTube. I love the idea of doing that. Do you ever do that? Do you ever watch old shows back on YouTube?
No.
Yeah, I do. We watched Crystal Maze last night.
Oh, brilliant. Crystal Maze is class. And do you know what else is good? You Bet. I loved watching You Bet.
Never watched that.
I used to watch them on
You Bet.
Challenge. They used to be on Challenge all the time. And I used to like Bruce's Price is Right.
That was always good.
Yeah.
Play your cards
Watch
right
You
as
Bet.
well.
Yeah, play your cards.
I don't know. I don't know if it was Branhatch, Silverstone, or Donington Park. It was one of them three. But Barry Sheen drove round it in a truck blindfolded because he knew the track that well.
That was class.
And You Bet, basically.
I think my
We should
favourite
do
one.
that.
My favourite one was Takeshi's Castle. That was amazing.
Oh. We should do that. The three of us should have a watch party and watch these shows on YouTube.
Takeshi's
Yes.
Castle. Let's
And
do
then,
it.
and then comment on them and make a show out of it. That would be class.
Yes.
The big bad watch party. Anyway, that was a massive digression.
Yeah,
But
It really was.
digression.
The final bit of news. Bong. Some good news. Paul Espargaro will be back on the Gas MotoGP bike at Silverstone this weekend after recovering from his injury sustained in Portimao at the start of the season.
Bloody hell. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. It was Portimao, wasn't it? Because I didn't actually double check that, but I'm sure it was.
Was it the first or second race of the season?
Well,
First.
We're good at this, aren't we? I'm sure it was Portimao, start of the season. It was the first.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the first.
Let me just double check now. It was Portimao.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it was definitely the first race of the season, wasn't it? Yes.
Yes.
That was it. It was FP2. Wasn't even the race.
Never even got to do a race. This will be his first race. It's be his first race all season.
He'll come back and he'll still get higher than Marquez.
Well, no. What do you mean still get higher than Marquez? He was never higher than Marquez.
He probably was when he was on the morphine. just a little drug joke there. Drugs. They're bad for you. Don't take drugs. They're bad. They are bad for you. Don't take drugs. They're bad for you. Jesus. No, I'm not saying you should. Yeah, it's not good to see Paul Espargaro back. Do you think... well, I'm not going to say do you think he'll do much. Obviously, that's not going to go out and win the race. What I was going to say to you is, do you think he'll have a strong end of the season, or do you think is he just going to go through the motions and call it quits?
I think he'll go through the motions.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be pushing to be at the front.
I think all his target is going to be just to beat his teammate as often as he can. I think that's all he's realistically going to do.
Who's that? Fernandez?
Yeah, Augusto Fernandez.
Augusto Fernandez. Yeah. We'll see how he gets on with it.
Yeah. But that is the end of the news.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to pull you out of the podcast, but during editing, there was a couple of news stories that broke that we thought really should be in the show, because we didn't want to wait until next week to announce them, because you'd already know about that. You probably already know now. Anyway, they're both Yamaha focused. So the first one was that McCann's Yamaha have said that they are pulling out of the BSB paddock in the end of 2023. Obviously, that leaves a few questions that yet haven't been answered, and maybe by next week we will know some of them answers. And the second one, and the one that's got us all talking, and it's not one that it's a big of a shock or a big surprise, but Alex Rins, maybe not Alex Rins, but Yamaha have confirmed that Alex Rins will be riding for the Yamaha factory team in MotoGP next year. So that's a little bit of the news. McCann's Yamaha is not going to be in the British Superbikes next year, and Alex Rins is going to be riding for Yamaha next year, which obviously leaves a seat at LCR Honda, and that begs the question, where's Morbidelli going to go? But Morbidelli is the silly season favourite, so we always knew he wasn't going to be there. Anyway, that's the news. Continue enjoying the show. Thanks very much. Peace out. Yeah, it's not. I'm not editing in bongs for that.
You are.
No, I'm not.
Well, put the jingle in at the start, please, because that's...
Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo. That one.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, shit. I'll just clip that and move it.
I like it when I play that in the car and it goes from like one side of the car to the other. That's pretty cool. Is that stereo? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, mono's just one stereo.
Yeah.
What, in Bluey, your Ford Focus?
You should call your Ford Focus Bluey. That's what you should call it. That's what you'll be calling it when you become a dad.
No, I'm calling it Ford Focus because that's what it was called in the factory.
And whenever you do eventually become a dad, if you ever need to know how to parent, just watch Bluey. That's what you do. If you're ever struggling with how to be a parent, just watch Bluey.
What is
do
Bluey?
Whatever Bandit does. Bluey's this little Australian show about these little dogs. And Bandit's the dad, and he's like the best dad in the world. Of course, it's a cartoon, and he doesn't seem to have a job, so he just lies around the house and he's a good dad all day. But the rest of us have fucking problems, man. All right. Anyway, if you want to know how to dad, watch Bluey. Yeah. It's quite good. My kids love it. They love it. It's like Peppa Pig, only better.
Yeah.
Should we get into
Super Bowl race?
Should we get into racing?
Yes, because we're talking a huge amount of shit.
We really are this week.
I am. Yeah, well, who gives a fuck? That's why it's called the Big Bad BS, because we talk a lot of bad BS. Right, anyway, let's get into it. World Superbike, Superpole, qualifying, whatever. What happened first? Qualifying.
Qualified, but we didn't get any notes on that. I didn't watch it.
To be honest, I was busy and I didn't catch the qualifying, so...
I was too busy standing in the field, getting drunk with my mates, watching Michael Dunlop destroy everybody on Armoy. So
sounds pretty good, to be fair.
So I had a reasonable excuse. You were tying up, getting a new bike. You know, you were changing your
Here we go.
Your handlebars and your own bike. You were getting a new motorbike. You were doing bike things.
Yeah.
I was doing bike things. Chippy, what were you doing?
I was cleaning the house top to bottom because we've got the family coming over.
He was cleaning the house, and you couldn't have it on the iPad or other.
No, I
other
need to watch it.
available.
It needs to have my full attention.
Oh, wait till you have kids. I can't wait till you have
I
kids.
know, he's just going to come to us and be like, he's going to be there with his hair all over the place, crying, like, you were both right the whole time.
I think his hair will fall out and go bald.
Chippy, you're watching, this is what happens, alright?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens.
Right, anyway.
So no, I didn't watch
keep
qualifying.
Right, anyway. I say anyway quite a lot. Anyway. I'm going to go through and count how many times we say anyway in this show.
Anyway.
I picked it up off you. You used to say it all the time, Chippy.
Yeah, I do. Like, if I'm kind of ready to move on now, I'm just like, anyway.
That's kind of like cutting somebody off when they're talking to you. Anyway, you can't be bothered talking to you anymore.
Where's your dad, Chippy? I thought you were bringing Daddy Chippy on for a little bit.
No, he's in the next room, probably having a nap on the sofa.
Stop talking shit. Right, Super Pole race. Who wants to run through it? Because I don't take any notes. I barely watched it. Like, I skimmed through it just to see it. Oh, I just want to talk more shit because... So what happened was, right, sorry if anybody's listening. This is how this podcast goes. All weekend, because I wasn't watching it, I was watching like live motorcycle racing, road racing. I was trying to avoid what was going on. But on Saturday night I watched the race, the first race. And then on Sunday I was avoiding what was going on. Yeah, and then Sunday I was avoiding what was going on because I was trying to find an opportunity, because I was taking my friends, Jason, taking him over and his family, and they wanted to go to Giant's Causeway and they wanted to go to Dunlop's Memorial Garden, and they wanted to go to Joey's Bar. And we walked into Joey's Bar and they were talking about it and they gave us a result, and then on the TV the fucking Super Sport was on and they were talking about it as well, and we seen everything in like a heartbeat, in about 2 seconds everything was just downloaded to us. And we were just like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then we kind of thought, well, you just walked into a motorbike bar the same day World Superbikes is on. Of course you're going to be watching it, of course you're going to be talking about it. Anyway.
Anyway.
Right. Race 1 comes before Super Pole race, because race 1 and then it goes into the sprint race and the first thing on a Sunday.
Yes.
So you got that in the wrong order.
Yeah, my fault.
Well, Ash did the notes on this.
It's my fault. So
move along.
What, do you want me to read them out?
Yeah, that was my attempt not to say anyway.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
I wonder what this episode's called.
Anyway. I will read out race 1. So the race began with Bassani leading the pack, closely followed by Rinaldi and Jonathan Rea. Unfortunately, Vinales, Koenig and Baldassari suffered early crashes, with Locatelli joining them on the first lap, making it a chaotic start. Vierge also couldn't avoid a crash at turn 15, adding to the list of incidents, making it 5 crashes in the opening lap alone. Bautista showed impressive riding skills, making his way up to 5th from 14th place, with Alex Lowe's tailing him closely. Petrucci faced a setback, finding himself in 12th after getting pushed back out on the first lap. Most riders opted for the softer tyre for the race, adding an element of strategy to the mix. The race was witnessed thrilling overtakes, with Toprak making impressive moves to secure the lead. He successfully passed Rea on the straight and then executed a perfect move on Bassani. Fans were hoping for a win from Toprak to boost his position in the championship standings. Rea didn't back down, overtaking Bassani and securing second place. Bautista finished a commendable third, while Bassani held on to claim fourth despite being unable to maintain his initial lead. Rinaldi secured 5th position, but there were hints of concern about his future in the competition. Additionally, it was revealed that Kawasaki had enjoyed a competitive advantage this season, having an extra 500 revs. In a post-race development, Redding came under investigation for cutting a corner on the first lap. Nonetheless, the thrilling race concluded with Toprak taking the first place spot, followed by Ray in second and Bautista in third, leaving fans eagerly anticipating the next round of intense racing action.
Did Johnny Ray not win race 1?
Yeah, he did. You just read out the result for the Super Bowl, I think.
Yeah, I think you mixed them up.
Yeah.
No, I gave you these notes, Chippy.
No, that was the result for the Super Bowl.
Well, hold on then. If you read the Super Bowl, that's the exact same description as race 1. Oh no, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Sorry.
Okay, so what we just read out was
The Super
the first
Bowl.
race on Sunday. Which
We're
is the
very
sprint.
organised. We know what we're doing.
I realised you were reading that out halfway through it. I just didn't bother stopping you.
Well, I'm glad you didn't, because then it would have thrown me off. Anyway, that was Super Bowl.
Super Bowl race, yes.
Yeah.
That was a Super Bowl race.
Which was brilliant. It was really.
That's Sunday morning covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good at
Should we
this.
talk about it? Should we talk about it, or
Yes.
Yeah. Decent. And, do you know what? Pisani's really impressing me. I think he's really, really good.
Yeah, he is.
You know, and this. Do you know what? I haven't got anything against Rinaldi at all, but I just think it's funny every time Pisani's beating him on the the fucking satellite Ducati.
where did Batista finish in the sprint race?
He finished
Third.
Third. Yeah, he did a bit better than that one than he did in the first one.
But
it's not just Bassani that's beating it's beating Rinaldi. Petrucci's beating him as well.
Yes, he is.
On the
Yeah.
Barney Ducati, Petrucci's beating him.
So it's both of the satellite bikes are destroying the second rider in on the factory bike. So I don't think Rinaldi's going to be there much longer.
Well, I thought that last season, but then he got extended.
I don't think.
But I don't think he'll have him again this year, next year.
But you can't even say it's because he's Italian and they want an Italian on the bike, because Bassani and Petrucci are both Italian.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Petrucci will be on it next year. I think they should put Petrucci on it. I know he's old. I know he's roughly the same age as Batista, and maybe they want a younger rider to mould and develop. But I think Petrucci's the best man. Well, riders are right there right now. He's the best one
I prefer
I think
Bassani.
Bassani. Yeah, I'm with Ash on that. I prefer
because
Bassani.
he's younger. Because he's younger.
I think
and
he's
you can
better.
mould him and-
He's more hungry.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
You think he's better than Petrucci?
Yeah.
I think so.
In World Supers he is, yeah.
I do.
Petrucci beat him this weekend eventually.
Yeah, but I think overall this season,
Overall,
Bassani's been better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Petrucci's first season in World Superbikes. You got to give him a bit of time to settle in, and he's been getting back-to-back podiums now.
Yeah, he's a great rider. Don't get me wrong. He's
He's
great.
brilliant.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't give it to him because he's a bit old. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think Bassani would be the better choice, or even Beluga, or Belega, or whatever you call
Oh,
him.
God, no, I don't want him. But it probably is going to be him, but I don't want it to be him.
I have
Why? Because
So go on.
why do you not want to be Belega?
Because he's only winning that Supersport Championship because he's on a Ducati. It's not because he's the best rider.
Okay, I just banged the table. You're going to hear that.
But I
I'm
think
going to hear it during the
I think put him in World Supers on whoever replaces Rinaldi. So say Bassani, put him on Bassani's bike and see what he can do on that.
Yeah, that's
And
a
then
good shout.
and
yeah.
then maybe give
yeah.
him the factory ride after that. But at the same time, I can also understand what you said the other week about getting him in, moulding him, and then when Bautista retires, he can step into his...
Yeah, but I don't think Bassani's that old either, is he?
No, I don't think so.
Like, we're talking about Batista, he's 37. They've got plenty of time. Well, they haven't got a lot of time. I mean, if you've gotten to your 37, Jesus,
Yeah.
being 28, 29 is quite young. Last week, or the last round, it was Imola, and it was the first round where the Ducatis had lost the revs and Yamaha had gained the revs. And we weren't sure if it was because of Imola or what, that it seemed more competitive. Whereas this week, again, it seemed to be more competitive.
Yes.
And I know you could say maybe the rain affected a few things, but I think it's too many coincidences. I think this is the first time really that the bikes have been equal.
Yes, I agree. And it almost felt, well, I mean, we'll get onto it, but it felt like the championship was a bit more open now.
Mm.
It brought it put some life into the championship. It
Yes.
brought it back to life.
It's bringing
It's
World
just a
Superbikes
shame.
back to what it should be, and it's interesting again. We
It is,
got
but
a
it's
bit
just
bored
such
for
a
a while,
shame.
didn't we? We got bored, and
Yes. If Bautista wasn't
And
so
if-
far ahead already in the championship,
he's not that far. Top Rack's not that far off in
Well,
the.
well, it'd have been a lot closer.
Right, well, let's go back and talk about race 1, then we can talk about race 2, and then we can
Yes.
talk about this, okay? Because, right, annoying. Right, race 1, not the Super Pole race.
So we go
race
back to
1,
Saturday
which
now.
happened on the Saturday. We're going back in time. Doc style.
Cool.
Doc, what's Doc Brown style?
Are you
Back
ready?
to the future.
Anyway, in an eventful World Superbike race, Top Rat struggled with the start once again, while Bassani surged to the front. Vierge and Johnny Ray engaged in an intense battle. Gardner held second, closely pursued by Bautista. Ray overtook Gardner and Bautista, taking the lead. Pit stops were required to switch to slick tyres, as the wet ones weren't lasting. Gerloff crashed at turn 15 and Ray took a gamble, sticking with his intermediate tyres. Top Rat briefly moved to third but slipped back to sixth. Eventually Ray's strategy paid off and he secured a remarkable victory with a 10-second lead over Top Rat in second. Petrucci came next, and Redding and Lacona also had noteworthy performances. Unfortunately, Vierge, Baldastari and Suna encountered mishaps during the race. So yeah, that's
Yes.
an overview of that race. But that was such a great race because, you know, it was that gamble, wasn't it? It was the gamble of, do you switch your tyres? And Johnny just thought, you know what, I'm on the intermediates, I'm just going to bang it out.
But didn't he have was it intermediate front and wet rear? Or the other way around? Wet rear.
Oh,
It was all. I think it all came down to the tyres that they started with.
Yes.
The tyres they went on the grid with, because Johnny Ray made the right decision at the start, and then everybody else had, well, not everybody else, but his competitors had to go in and change tyres. Whereas he just stayed out. I think he said in his interview that it was the worst kept secret in World Superbikes because he was trying to make sure nobody else knew what tyres he was going to go with.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want anybody copying him. However, I know tyres come into it, but going back to the point we were making, even just something as simple as Ducati losing some revs and Yamaha gaining some, and it makes them more competitive, then they're going to be racing with each other, and it's just going to allow the likes of Johnny Ray or, you know, Locatelli or whoever, Johnny Ray really, to go up and pick up the pieces. So.
But it was so good to see
well,
Johnny Ray there up on the top step.
Yes, it really was.
Yeah.
Really,
And it's like he said this. He said it was like a conditions win, but you've got to take what you can take. And if anything, that proves his experience, not just how good he is at riding a bike, but his experience and the experience that his team has. And anyway, we like conditions wins. We'll talk about that later on, I'm sure.
Yes.
How conditions win. Will we just talk quickly about race 3? This is where you never know what to call it. Race 1, Super Pole. Race 2, race 1, 2, 3.
Yes. Let's talk about race.
Do you know what, Chippy?
The final race.
You sorted this one out, Chippy, so you can read this one.
Well, I quickly
final
wrote this.
Superbike
and
race of
this
the
was all
weekend.
from memory. So the main.
I added a bit to it.
Oh, did you? Okay. Well,
Yes.
I'll just read it and hope for the best. So the race was mainly between Bautista and Top Rack all race. Bautista would get ahead of Top Rack on the start-finish straight, which was obviously due to pure rider skill and nothing to do with the extra power of the Ducati. Then Top Rack had take him back in the first corner and lead the rest of the lap. Copy and paste that 20 times until Top Rack came out the first corner. I think it was the first. and he had an untop like style high side. And on the last few laps, both Petrucci and Bassani passed Rinaldi, demoting him to 5th. And Petrucci even passed Ray to finish 2nd.
Now with that, pipped him, didn't he, right at the line?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that incident with Toprak, there's a bit more to it. It wasn't just a normal high side. Pirelli released a statement. This is what it said. Discussing what caused Razgatlioglu's crash, Pirelli's moto racing director Giorgio Barbier said in World Superbike Race 2 with the new C0567 rear specification, we recorded 3 cases of blistering, Ray Gardner and Razgatlioglu. For the first 2, the blisters were extremely small and had no effect on the performance and race result, where in Toprak's case, the tyre had 2 more evident blisters and the telemetry data showed a sudden deflation of the tyre, even if the Yamaha's riders' race pace was extremely high and none of the other riders' tyres... Have I read that right? Even if Yamaha's riders' race pace was extremely high and none of the other riders' tyres showed any signs of stress or wear and tear, these types of episodes clearly must not occur. So we will conduct an in-depth laboratory analysis of the 3 tyres with blistering to figure out what may have caused... There's just full stop there.
I think basically what he's saying is some people might like to turn around and say, well, it's the way Toprak rides a bike. He puts a lot of strain on the tyres. And I think he's saying, as Pirelli spokesperson, as it's up to the riders to ride the bike how they want. We should be providing them with tyres that can match their needs regardless of how they ride. That's what he said.
Yes.
Which is true.
But I mean, you put that picture in the group chat of just before he high-sided, like the tyre just looked completely flat.
Completely flat.
Completely.
So anybody that's listening, if you go to... did I put it on the Big Bad BS?
I know you definitely put it on our chat. I don't know whether... Just put it in the...
Well, if not, I will. Chippy can maybe do it now. We're going to put it in the Big Bad BS Facebook group. Go on there. It's easy to find, the Big Bad BS, and you'll see the picture. The tyre's completely deflated. It's gone. That's really bad.
It is because you have to have all your confidence in your tyres. And if they're doing shit like that, then people aren't going to want to push it.
Well, it happened to Johnny Ray a few years ago because his tyre deflated and he just crashed.
Didn't it happen at Isle of Man TT last year or some road race where they started delaminating or something like that? I can't... There's something like that. I'm sure.
Well, I'm not entirely sure. There's nothing in my head about it, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
I've got to say,
but that's
this. I just thought it's completely off topic, but this season, all of the bikes put together, I have to say that I think Toprak is my favourite rider at the moment.
Yeah,
the guy's insane.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
I honestly love watching him race. I'm in awe when I'm watching him. Just the way he slides that back end round, it's amazing. That's
why I know what I said a few weeks ago, and I'm allowed to change my mind because people are allowed to change their mind, just like you change socks. You're allowed to do that. I honestly think, looking at him, looking what he's doing, if he had went to Yamaha and MotoGP, if they had given him a season just to get to grips with the bike, I think he could have done, maybe not won the championship, but
he
could have done just as good as Morbidelli.
I just love the way he slides that bike around. It's really impressive.
It's reminiscent of Gary McCoy. Do you remember Gary McCoy, the Australian rider that was in MotoGP in the early 2000s? Yeah. He was class. He got wrecked because they just couldn't make the tyres anywhere near grippy enough for what he wanted to do. I think he was one of the first riders that really went into sliding around corners.
Yeah, I think it's class the way they do that.
I think it was Gary McCoy. I think that's his name. Answers in the postcard if it's not. AP McCoy. It was him and his horse.
The answer's in the what?
Answers in the postcard.
Have you never heard that?
No, never.
It's just an expression. Is that why you put a little question mark whenever I said it?
Thinking, what the fuck?
Answers in the postcard. It's like another way of saying I don't give a fuck if I'm wrong. Because if you put an answer in a postcard, it'll take ages to get there.
I've never heard that.
You don't say that in Yorkshire.
No, I say
Nope, say that.
one that Chippy never heard of, which is let dogs eat rabbit.
That's just stupid.
No, that's about something else. That's
But it's a saying. It's a saying that Chippy hadn't heard of until he watched.
Well, no, I had heard of it. I had heard of it on Only Fools and Horses, but I don't think it's a Yorkshire thing.
Oh.
He probably hears it when you say it properly. Let the dog see the rabbit. Let dogs eat rabbit.
Let dogs eat rabbit.
Let dogs eat rabbits.
No, let dogs eat rabbit.
Let dogs eat rabbits. Okay, let dogs eat rabbits. Let dogs eat rabbits. Cool.
That's not what I'm saying, but okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very frustrating because not me, not just me. Top Rack had got in front of Batista and he had gained gap. He had broke Batista. He had broke him. He had beaten him.
Yeah.
He had beaten him. Batista tried. Oh, it was good that time because every time Batista was going out the outside and Top Rack was coming the inside and he would always outbreak him and get round.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know what lap it was, Batista got to the inside and he thought, I'll go on the inside. And Top Rack just outbreak him and cut his nose off.
That was brilliant, wasn't
And he
it?
was in front of him. And he was like, oh, I'm having none of it. I'm going in front of you. And he outraced him. That's just what happens when you've got two bikes that are similar performance. You get a good race. If them revs hadn't been changed, you can guarantee Batista would have disappeared. He'd have just disappeared down that straight. It was a really good race, and unfortunately, due to Pirelli's era, I nearly got that out. Due to Pirelli's era, we were denied a good race. We were denied a good race result, and it would have been down to what? It would have been down to about 45 points in the
Something like
championship.
that, yeah. It'd have really blown it wide open.
And now it's back up to 70 points.
Yeah. So you still can't see it happening. There's not that many races left.
There's like 4 rounds left, I think.
Yeah.
But could you imagine if Top Rack had won that, 45 points in it, going into a 5-week break? Batista would have been sitting in that for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to see anybody at home, pulling their hair out with any sort of mental problems or anything, but it would be nice to thought that he was, he's sweating a bit. I don't care if Batista wins. I'd like to see Batista winning. I don't care who wins, Batista or Top Rack, but I just want to see a good championship, a tight championship, and thankfully now a fair championship.
Yes. It's just a shame
But
it's happened this late in the season.
Yes,
Now it's even.
Playing devil's advocate or whatever, I'll still always come back to the fact that you can't really blame Dorna because Batista was the only one doing it.
Yeah, I mean, there was other Ducatis on the grid not pulling away from Johnny Ray and
I don't understand because Batista now seems to be, he's not getting away, but Ronaldo's not getting any further back.
No.
But then Ronaldo was never really shining very well anyway, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Ronaldo kept crashing. Maybe the bike was too powerful for him. Maybe there was too much. That's why he kept crashing.
Maybe.
Because now he's staying on the bike. And that's not me trying to slag him off. I'm not trying to give him like a backhanded compliment or something. I'm genuinely saying maybe the bike was too much.
Anyway,
Ronaldo, some thinks he's shy.
shall we get on to the Super Sport? Because I'm dying to talk about this.
Yeah.
Do you mean Super Sport Race 1?
No, not really.
The first race that Beluga won and Manzi came second. Do you want to talk about that
No,
one?
I don't want to talk about that race because that's just... I didn't actually watch that race.
It was copy and paste from most other Super Sport races,
Yeah.
like I say. Beluga came first, Manzi came second. Don't mind who came third. Someday.
I mean, I'll be
Okay.
honest. I didn't watch any of the Super Sport until I just saw British Superbikes put on Facebook, congratulations to Taz Mackenzie winning his first race or something. I thought, what? That has got to be a wind-up. And then I saw more and more. I was like, no way. So I had to go back and watch it.
And I watched it as well.
Yeah,
yesterday.
That's kind of what happened to us. We walked into Joey's bar and somebody went, Top Rack. I was going to do a Yorkshire accent, I don't know why. We walked in. Probably because it annoyed me. Yorkshire accents annoy me. Well, yours does us. So we walked in. we walked into the bar, and the guy was like, Top Rack won the second race. And then they were talking about him coming off, blah, blah, blah. And then on the TV, Taz Mackenzie was giving an interview, and you could obviously see he'd won. And we were just like, what the fuck's going on? What's happening?
It was absolutely mental, that race.
It was a mental race. And it was very reminiscent of Brad Bender. He's like, fuck it, I'm not going in.
Yes.
It was, you could just see him struggling to try and turn them bikes in the wet, thinking, don't slip, don't slip, don't slip.
But then, whenever like the rain started and he just kept going and he's wobbling around, as soon as the rain stopped again, you could see it sort of starting to not dry out, but you could see it. You know, it wasn't such a problem.
Yeah.
As soon as I was going to say, as soon as you'd seen the rain stop, you knew he was going to win. But I knew he was going to win anyway because I'd already seen the result. But
thing is, I mean, if it had been a couple of laps longer, he probably wouldn't have won because I can't remember who it was in second. Was it Schrotter was catching him up at like...
Schrotter, I think, yeah, on the MV.
It was like over a second a lap he was catching him up or something. So
Yeah,
it was
he
only a
was
matter of
catching
time
him.
before he got caught, but he didn't.
yeah,
And
but
he
you could say
lapped,
that.
and he lapped Booliger.
That was the best thing all race. Seeing
Lapped
Bulliger
to the
get lapped by...
championship leader. Oh my god. That was class.
Yes.
Yeah, but Bulliger's still going to his bed championship leader. So
Well,
I
he
really think
is,
doesn't
but
give
it
a
was just
fuck.
it was just funny to see. I was like, you went in
It
and got
was
wet.
nice, Taz.
And it was a shame John McPhee just missed out on a podium, but he still did
Yeah,
really
that
well
would
to
have
finish
been-
fourth.
That would have been class to have.
Can I've got to ask you a question though. And this is, maybe again, playing devil's advocate. And I'm not sure if there's any real answer to it or if I'm just talking shite. At the end of the year, if that team hadn't won any races and hadn't done very well, could they have been entitled to any sort of concessions to make their bike any better?
What, on the Honda?
Yeah.
I
Could
don't-
they have said, well, we
yeah.
need to be allowed to spend more time, or we need to be able to invest more money, or we need to be able to do something to make our bike better.
I'll be
And
honest.
now they could turn around and say, well, you're a race winner, you can't do that. So is it like a double-edged sword? A poison chalice, if you would.
I don't really understand how the concessions work in that category.
Neither do I.
But assuming it's the same as MotoGP, like if you get a win then you can't have concessions, then that'd be a bit tight.
In that sense, it's a bit like,
But I heard this weekend, this is completely changing the subject, apparently Taz Mackenzie's got a 2-year contract on the Superbike for that team after this year. I don't know if
heard
that's
that
true.
as well. But
that-
it's saying, I don't know if it was you that told me that or if I heard it. Because, like I say, I was in a field full of bike fanatics, so I could have heard it anywhere. But
I mean, that's really good. I mean, it's not a competitive bike in Superbike either, but at least to be on the Superbike grid.
aye, but how many times have you said he needs to come back to British Superbikes?
Yeah, well, he needs to be on a Superbike, not Supersport.
Yeah. No, don't.
It'd be good to see him in World Supers, and hopefully that team can give him a bit more. But he's a good rider. I think he'll be he'll be in the points, I think, but only just.
So what you're saying is he would do better on the Superbike.
Yeah, I think he'd do better on the Superbike.
So when I said that I think Jake Dixon would do better on a MotoGP bike than a Moto2 bike, you completely shot me down with that.
There's a lot more difference between a Moto2 bike and a MotoGP bike than there is between a Supersport and a Superbike.
Yes, plus Taz Mackenzie's already shown that he can ride a Superbike by winning
Yes.
the British Superbike Championship, which is, in its own, one of the most competitive Superbike Championships in
I'm
the
just
world.
making a
Maybe even
point
as
there.
competitive as World Superbikes.
I'm just making a
Oh,
point.
and your point is,
My point
You
is
just
I
wanted to
think-
talk about
I
Jake
think-
Dixon.
No, I think he will do better on a MotoGP bike.
Oh,
But
don't be
our-
ridiculous.
our argument, well, I don't know about ours or Chippy, but my argument isn't that he wouldn't do well in a MotoGP bike. He might do well in a MotoGP bike, but not well enough to win the championship. But he is good enough to win the Moto2. So win the Moto2, then go up and be a mediocre MotoGP rider. That's what I'm saying. Do that.
I agree with that. And also, I don't think he would be a good MotoGP rider. You look at how many Moto2 riders have gone up to MotoGP and just not hacked it. World champions, Moto2 champions, and they can't.
Won't we? We will see.
Tito Rabat, 2 times Moto2 winner, didn't do well in MotoGP.
Yeah.
Or Brands Hatch.
You could argue Johan Zarco 2 times
Johan Zarco, 2 times Moto2 winner, can't even win a race in MotoGP.
on a Ducati, on a factory Ducati.
Well, I think he will surprise.
Yeah, it's not.
Anyways, just making a point there.
Remy Gardner.
Remy Gardner.
Yeah. Couldn't hack
Another
it.
Moto2 rated. Moto2 rated. Doing
Anyway.
any more?
Don't know. Put him any you like him, but good to
Is there anything else from Most in Czech Republic that you'd like to mention?
Most.
Most or
It's Most.
Most.
well, I'm from the UK and I'm going to say Most. There you go. Most. Making the most of most. You wanted to put in the title makes the most of most.
That
No,
was awful.
making the
most.
making the
Awful.
most of
Most.
Most.
Making the most of most.
Oh,
That's
God.
fucking
I
shit.
read that as making the most of most.
That's because you're stupid.
I'm not stupid.
Because you don't know how to pronounce Most.
I didn't even know what most
You-
was.
Yeah, you didn't even understand it. That's why you thought it was stupid.
Still stupid.
Well, it's better than anything you've ever come out with.
I
Your
once called it the
suggestions
Flying
are terrible.
Scotsman. That's a great
We've got
name.
a
That's
good. We've
crap.
got a good title. Anyway,
Anyway. Should we move on to our predictions then for Silverstone?
we're not going to do silly season.
Oh, crap, is that beforehand? Yeah, my bad. Silly season.
Oh crap! It's just we've been doing that format for the past 2
Oh,
months.
soz dad. Do you know what's really annoying me, Sam? The fact that your stupid freaking microphone thing is in front of your face.
Yeah, I have noticed that. I was
So
gonna say that
annoying.
earlier.
Oh my god, it looks like Phantom of the freaking Opera.
Yeah, but I can't see my face because I've got my Discord down, so I can't see myself. So thanks for telling me. You could have mentioned that like an hour ago. Jesus.
It's been doing my head in the whole night. I'm like, why is it in front of
Well,
his
why have you waited an hour and 17 minutes to say that?
Because
Why
I thought
you
you
not
were maybe
sit
just
there?
doing it because you wanted to look really cool with your little weird filter thing.
Yeah, you should try one. Your fucking audio might sound a bit better. I wouldn't have to edit so much shit out.
Well, I haven't got
Yes.
a connection for it, so
Well. What do you mean you don't have a connection for it?
I've got nothing to pin it to, really.
I told you buy a boom
I
arm.
don't want a boom arm. The table I
like you
use to put my
sounding
laptop
shit.
on is a very special table. So
He's so tight.
Yes. And every time you tap the table or touch the table, you can hear it in the recording.
I don't touch the table.
You don't think you touch the table.
I'm not touching it. Don't touch it!
I'm going to clip that. I'm not touching it. I noticed that on YouTube. You can clip bits of it. You can take little bits and just clip it. So if you say something funny, you can just clip that, turn it into something.
Okay.
I'm not touching it though. Yes, thank you.
They're in my hair.
Silly season.
Yeah, silly season.
Why the fuck does anybody even listen to our
I
podcast?
don't know anymore.
I don't think they
I
do.
don't think anybody does. I honestly don't think anybody listens to us. I think we get about 30. I think people listen for about 30 seconds and they're like, "Fuck this! I'm not listening." Anymore. Why are we even doing this? Why are we even bothering? We're just here chatting shit for no reason.
I've got family come up to see me and I've locked myself in the kitchen just so I can record this.
I've not seen my family in about 5 nights because I've been away. I'm just sitting here talking to you two about fucking shit that we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, this one's been a bit of a mashed together one, really, hasn't it?
Yes.
It should have been the best one. We had Armoy to talk about. We had Most to talk about.
The most.
I just get pissed all weekend. I didn't bother doing any sort of research or anything right now and down.
Right, silly
Right,
season.
silly season.
Anyway,
This is your bet, Chippy.
Oh, yes. Well, a couple of weeks ago, you said you wanted like a confirmed what we know now sort of thing. So,
It would be good to have that so we know what's going on.
well, I've kind of
No, we
done
can-
that for MotoGP, but it's not confirmed. It's almost confirmed. So,
Well,
this is what is happening. Ducati have confirmed that they're sticking with Bastianini for next year. So they're not going to be replacing him.
I think that's a good move. I think that's good. I think they
I
should
do
give
as
him
well.
another year
Yes.
because it wasn't his fault he got taken out.
Yep, I agree.
Who was it? Was it Martin or Bezecchi crashed into him?
Is it
Not Mar-
Marini?
Marini, that was it.
Yeah.
Not Martin, Marini.
Yeah.
Yeah, he crashed into him. He lost the front and took him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Even though apparently that's
Cleared up.
not as bad as what Marc Marquez did, even though it was the same sort of result.
Marc
But anyway,
Marquez just. Marc Marquez.
I'm not getting into this.
He Gran Turismo the guy. Gran Turismo somebody.
really
I'm not
did.
even going to break.
He
I'm just
didn't.
going to use the.
It didn't,
gonna
but I
use-
just can't be bothered arguing it.
I'm going
again.
to use Mikel Oliveira as a break.
Listen back to the first week of the season, and you'll hear our arguments on that. So the next bit of almost confirmed. Jorge Martin is now staying at Pramac after rumours linking him with with Yamaha.
Well, I think that's a good move.
Yeah,
for
but
Martin.
Why would he want to? He's on he's on the best bike in the grid, and he's doing quite well
Yeah.
this year. Why do you want to move?
Oh, I've
Yeah.
got Yamaha,
That'd be like-
which are still in, producing new parts and shite.
Yes.
No, definitely a good move from him there.
Yeah, agreed. Now this next one I think is quite interesting. Marco Bezzecchi wanted a factory bike next year. It was rumoured he might be moving to Pramac or Yamaha, but Ducati will allow him to stay in the VR46 team but give him a factory bike next year.
Is that a rumour or is that confirmed? Because I heard that they were thinking about it because they weren't sure they wanted to pay for a fifth factory bike, but they might do it.
I think this is going to be confirmed, but I'm not 100% sure.
So
Pretty
they're going
cool.
to. But if you're looking Marini, Johan Zarco's got one. If you're looking Marini,
Yes.
who's the other two Ducati riders? Alex Marquez
Yeah.
or
To be confirmed.
DG and Antonio
Yes.
to be confirmed. If you're them, you're thinking, well, why am I not getting a factory bike?
Yes.
Because they're not as good as Bezzecchi.
Alex Marquez is a decent rider.
He's not as
Yeah.
good as Bezzecchi.
Well, I'd say he's won more championships than Bezzecchi.
Yeah, but Bezzecchi
Yeah.
is still a better rider than him.
No, he's having a better season. Doesn't mean he's a better rider.
I think he's
Yeah.
better.
Having a better season.
You're saying Bezzecchi's a better rider than Quartararo because he's having a better season?
At the moment, yeah.
No, he's having a better season. Doesn't mean he's a better rider.
I like Bezzecchi though, so I think it's class.
Yeah, but you're,
Very
so
biased.
you're letting your emotions get away rather than thinking with your head.
Yes.
Still having a better. Yeah, all right. He's having a better season.
Like every rider's having a better season than Bastianini, so just kick him off the factory Ducati and
Give
put
it to
somebody else on there.
Bezzecchi. No, right.
Bastianini's a better rider than Bezzecchi.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree with you.
The next
I
one.
agree, disagree.
Joan Mir will not be on any Ducati next season, with Gresini Ducati looking set to be taken by Tony Arbolino.
Yeah.
So Arbolino to replace Digian Antonio. That's looking more and more likely, apparently.
I think that'd be a good move for Arbolino.
What did you say there? Joan Mir.
There was rumours he was
Wait,
going to
was-
be on a Ducati next year, but now apparently
Yeah.
that's not going to be happening.
And Arbolino's going to take it.
Yeah.
Is that the DG and Antonio's ride?
Yes.
Arbolino's going to get it. Is that still rumoured or to be confirmed?
It's
With
apparently it's
another
looking very likely. But yeah, I saw something the other day about Alex Marquez's contract's also up at the end of this year, but Gresini are going to be sticking with him. Apparently, I don't know if I've just ruined one for later on, but
No, I wouldn't be surprised if Ducati dropped either of them. You know what I mean?
yeah, I could see him getting
Neither of
dropped, but I'd be surprised if they did drop him.
I think it would maybe be a bit foolish to drop both your riders at the same season.
Yes.
Maybe you need that little bit of continuity to try and follow into the following year. Not sure. Not to an owner, I don't know.
Yes.
But Tony Arbolino going to Gresini Ducati, I think is that a good move?
yes.
Obviously,
I think for him.
moving from
For Arbolino it is.
moving from Moto 2, getting onto Ducati is good, but
A Ducati that
could
isn't
be-
expected to win either.
he could be going up there as Moto 2 champion. If I was a champion in Moto 2, you want to walk in there with some presence. You want to be. You want
Yeah.
you want to have a bit of faith in you. But then you look back at what's his name? The champion, Who is?
Augusto Fernandez.
No, the MotoGP champion. My head's gone tonight. Can't think of anybody.
Bagnaia.
Bagnaia, he didn't start off on the best bike in the grid. He worked his way up.
Yes.
So yeah, Arbolino's probably happy to have gone on to Ducati.
So the next one.
Next.
Alex Rins is looking set to join Yamaha and could be announced before Silverstone this weekend.
All right. I mean, he's
Yeah, he
still
put in
injured, though,
brackets,
isn't he?
but that didn't happen.
Yes.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Because he had his wedding in a wheelchair. Felt quite sorry for him.
Yeah, I did actually.
I bet it was really good. Oh, he's up walking now, he's riding motorbikes, just a joke.
Yes.
Oh, God.
The next one. Takaki Nakagami looks like he's to be replaced by Ayagura. That was supposed to happen last season, but apparently Ayagura wanted to stay in Moto2 for another year. Nakagami,
I like
again,
Agora.
this year's
I think
done
this would
nothing.
be quite good.
I do, but I can't see him doing anything on that LCR Honda for a while.
You say Nakagami's done nothing. Is that on the Honda?
What's that, sorry?
Nakagami on the Honda?
Yeah, I don't think he's done much.
If you take away Alex Rins' one exceptional performance, take that away, and Nakagami's been one of the best finishing Hondas all season, consistently. He's been better than Marc Marquez. He's been better than...
Here we go.
No, he's been better than Johan Mir. And maybe not every race, but he's been better than Alex Rins for most of them.
Actually,
No,
yeah,
but
there
Alex
was like 4 or 5 races in a row, actually, where he was the top Honda finisher.
Yeah, so
Maybe I'm not giving him enough credit.
And I know people go, it's just because Marc Marquez got injured, or it's just because
Well,
Johan
it
Mir's
is.
on the... Yeah, but Marc Marquez always gets injured now, that's the point.
Anyway, next one. Silly season favourite, Franco Morbidelli. Should be leaving Yamaha, but he hasn't accepted a seat in World Superbikes yet, as he's hoping to stay in MotoGP. But the only options possible are the Gresini ride or LCR Honda.
But if Arbolino's going to Gresini and they're going to keep Alex Marquez,
Yes,
He's not
LCR
gonna go
Honda.
there.
Would you rather go to LCR Honda or get a decent seat in World Supers?
Probably World Supers.
I'd rather go World Supers.
yeah, if you want to be competitive, but there's maybe more to it. There's maybe like he's comfortable in the MotoGP paddock. It's maybe,
Yeah.
that's his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His life revolves around that, and he's maybe built a life around that. And going to World Superbikes maybe has to not drastically change his life. He's probably involved in motorbikes, but maybe has to bring a change to his life and his environment that he's maybe just not comfortable with. Maybe he would rather stay in MotoGP.
Yes.
But I would imagine he wants to win championships, and he's hungry like every other motorbike rider and racer. Regardless if it's motorbikes or cars or horses, you're a racer, you want to win. So I think World Superbikes would be a better fit for him.
Yes. The second to last one, Gas probably replacing Augusto Fernandez with Pedro Acosta, because KTM did ask the LCR team to switch to KTM, but they won't. They're sticking with Honda, so the only option really for getting Acosta in is to put him in Augusto Fernandez's seat. So that's looking probable now. Which we kind of knew a few weeks ago anyway.
Yeah.
And finally, there's going to be no change at the factory Aprilia or RNF Aprilia teams. Their riders are going to be staying the same.
Still keeping Vinales though?
Yeah, Vinales and Aleix.
Yeah.
Do you know what I don't like? I don't like it when people say second to last. That kind of annoys me when people say second to last.
Go.
No, but I never. Whenever people say second to last, I'm like, is it second to last or first to last? Because he's the first one before the last. So is it first to last or second to last? But thankfully, they've got a word, so there's no ambiguity with
Penultimate.
it. Yes, there you go. You know the word. You know the word. So why not use it?
Because it confuse Ash. He doesn't know what that word means.
I didn't until you just said.
Phosphorus. He use a phosphorus to figure it out.
Phosphorus. Blow it up.
Should we get on
Can
to our
we move on
predictions?
to the predictions? Yes.
Yeah.
For Silverstone.
Yes. I was the last one to put my predictions on, so I didn't really have much of a choice. But I'm still pretty happy with who I picked. Still pretty happy with who I've got down there. That's probably who I would have picked for the most part anyway, regardless of me picking last.
Well,
that's me
I
going,
picked
I don't
first.
care, that's who I want.
Made sure I got my predictions in this time. And you could actually see them.
Yeah. Yeah, Ash, well done for doing the doc this week. Just managed to get the races mixed up in the wrong order, but apart from that, did really well.
Thanks.
It's like one of them disapproving dads where no matter how
That
much
is
you
literally
do,
what you are. Like,
You just pick out all the faults.
yeah. It's me every week.
Have you ever seen that guy on YouTube? Is it Uncle John or whatever his name is? He's like the Asian guy. No matter how good he does, his dad's always like, your cousin Timmy. He always talks about how much better his cousin Timmy is. Your cousin Timmy in China, he's 9 and he got his own business. It's funny. Anyway, watch that. Uncle John or something like his name is. It's so good. Just digressing.
Yes.
Digressing. I will
Anyway, the
start with
predictions.
my prediction. So I reckon for the sprint race, Jorge Martin is going to win.
I would have gone with him if you hadn't have chose him.
Because he's like the sprint master, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sprint Master, yeah.
So instead, I went with Brad Binder.
Which is another good shout because Binder is really good on the sprints.
To be fair, all three of these, it wouldn't surprise me if this was the podium.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have gone with Bagnaia, which is a good shout. Like, come on,
Yeah.
Bagnaia
Yeah.
has won sprint races.
It is.
Like, they call Martin the sprint master, but I think Bagnaia has more sprint points than anybody else. So he's the sprint master.
MotoGP,
Right,
Sam.
Say the lines.
Say the line, Sam. I'm going for Johan Zarco. I feel it. I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my bones. Zarco's all around me. That's so how the feeling goes. Anyway, Zarco. Johan Zarco's
Johan
gonna
Zarco.
do a little backy flippy.
Chippy.
Do you know what? I almost went with Alex Rins for this because I was just thinking back to Silverstone in, was it 2019 with Marc Marquez where it's like the closest ever finish.
Yeah, but it was on a Suzuki.
Yeah, that's the
He
thing
was.
that kind of put me off. But I know he goes well around there. But I've gone with Jorge Martin.
Yeah, another good shout. And then I've gone with...
You not thought? Did
go on.
you not think maybe? Marc Marquez being such a good rider?
Yeah,
might
do you
win
know
the
what?
race?
You haven't picked Marquez once.
No, even though you talk about how he's still the best rider. in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, he is.
No.
But the Honda isn't. The Honda's not there. So, no.
Alright. Even though Alex Rins can win a race in the Honda. There you go.
But that's
Anyway,
only
right,
'cause
so
he's-
what was-
yes.
And mine
What
was,
was your pick there, Ash?
Bagnaia for the main race.
Right, Moto 2.
No
Let's
prizes
carry
for
on
guessing
with
who
the
Ash
same
went
thing.
for.
So, Sam.
I'll go first. I picked Arbolino.
Arbolino. It's a good shout. It's a good ride. Chippy.
Pedro Costa.
Another good shout. I do like a Costa. And I've gone with Jake Dixon.
Ash.
Yeah,
I
that's
would
a
have.
surprise.
If I would have got there first, I would have gone with Jake Dixon.
Really?
I think he's going to
Yeah.
smash it.
I don't. I think the pressure's going to get to him.
No, I think that his
I don't know.
confidence is at high now, and I think he's going to smash it.
I don't know. He's coming off the back of 3 podiums. He got a third and then a first. I think if the pressure was going to get to him, it would have got to him by now.
I think at his home race, the pressure's going to get to him. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to see him win again, but I don't think he will.
I just think
Not
I know
this
we're just
weekend.
coming off the back of a 5-week break, which maybe came at the wrong time for Jake Dixon because he had the momentum, he had the wind behind his sails, beneath his sails or behind his sails. What's that saying? The wind beneath his sails.
I think it's beneath, is it?
I think it is beneath. Yeah.
Sounds a bit strange. Should it not be behind?
I don't know.
It should really.
No, I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm pretty sure it is beneath your sails. But thinking of it, anyway, he's got the wind beneath his sails, but then a 5-week break came, so it's almost like he just anchored the ship. Just anchored the ship, now you got to start off all over again. Find some more wind from somewhere.
Well, hopefully
Where's
there's
the wind?
plenty of wind.
Put the wind in someone's sails.
Yes.
No, that's not the saying we want, is it, Chippy?
No.
That's a
The
different
one
version
with-
of the saying.
What are we thinking of? Wind
I think
wind beneath the
both- I think-
wings. Is that not what we're thinking of?
No, that's not.
You're the wind beneath
the
the
Oh,
sails.
it doesn't matter.
The wind beneath the sails, as the saying.
I don't think it
You're
is, you know.
both. I think you both have got really bad picks for Moto 3. And considering I went last, I was so surprised that you left.
I nearly
such
went
a
with your
good shout.
prediction.
I'm
But I wouldn't be surprised with mine. He's done well in recent weeks.
sticking with Sasaki. Sasaki is gonna win. He's gonna win. I believe in him. I always pick him.
Yeah, and he never wins. Maybe you should stop picking him.
No,
Guy
he's
might get a
gonna do
chance.
it. He's gonna do it.
Who have you gone for, Chippy?
I gone with Jaume Masia, but he's done well
See, I think
recently.
that's quite a
so-
good shout.
Yeah, he's done well.
And I have gone with championship leader, I believe. Holgado.
He's probably gonna take it. To be fair, but
I don't know.
no, I think Sasaki needs to smash one out. That sounded wrong, really wrong.
What are we calling this episode?
Smash one out. Sorry.
That's disgusting. The guy just wants to win a race and you're talking about him like that.
So that's our predictions then for this weekend.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm genuinely looking forward
I
to
am,
having
yeah.
MotoGP back. It's been a long 5 weeks.
It has.
Yes. Right, Sam, can we get onto this weird thing that you've asked us?
Yes. So, like I say, in the field, full of bike nuts. There was people that like BSB and all, and we got talking. And you know what I'm like whenever I'm talking? I digress, I go into little things, and I just talk bullshit. And there was a chip cart nearby, and I just come up with this idea and asked people that was around me. And we all started talking about it. So what I said was, if you're at a BSB and you went to a chip cart, so you want to buy some chips, who do you think out of all the BSB paddock, out of the riders, would run the best chippy and why? Now, obviously no chip cart is just a one-man band, so I'm not just looking for one person, I'm looking for 2, possibly 3 names, like a whole little team of people. Who do you think would be? Like, who would be in charge? Who would be sent to get more spuds and extra change from the merch shop? And, just in case you're struggling, it's alright if you want to pull somebody in from another championship. But that's what I'm thinking. If you want a chip cart, and it was the riders from BSB, who do you think would run the best chip cart and why?
Well, I had a think about this, and I think Peter Hickman would be like the manager, the overall manager. He's a bit older, and he's like, I think he'll be very good in that position. I would have Charlie Nesbitt as the potato boy, because his nickname is Spud, and he's young, and he's fast. So he can go and get the extra spuds and do all the little change jobs and that. And I would have Storm Stacey handing out the food, because he's got a big personality, and people would be like, "Oh, hey up Storm, yeah, come get some chips, mate." And I think he would be the big personality. So that would be my 3.
Chippy, what about you? Have you thought about this?
I have thought about this, and you put BSB paddock, so I haven't just gone with the superbike class. So I'd have Richard Cooper cooking and running the van, because he's always smiling, and if he's cooking, he's probably going to do it faster than anybody else can do it, so he'd get my chips faster. I'd have Rhys Irwin serving me, because you guaranteed service with a smile.
That's who I picked for service as well.
And
Yeah.
I also picked
Yeah.
Andy Irwin to be supplying the potatoes, because he is a farmer, but I don't know if he's like a sheep farmer or something, but...
Are you saying that because he's Irish?
But then I also said...
He's Irish, he likes potatoes.
Yeah, I thought he's Irish, so he knows a good potato.
You
Can't believe you
racist,
threw that out there.
racist.
Can't believe you brought that up.
So that'd be my 3. But he's a
Well,
farmer
I
as
had-
well.
Well, I had Rhys Irwin, like at the till, asking you what you want, what you want from it, what you going to get, blah, blah, blah. Do you want this? Do you want that? I had Reece Irwin down for that. The guy that was actually making the chips, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure who I thought was making the chips. I just had somebody down there, I was trying to pull somebody out of a hat, but I'm struggling to think of who it would be that would be making the chips. But whenever I see a chip cart, and I see Tommy Bridewell running it,
I nearly picked him.
I see Tommy Bridewell in the back, like maybe being a little bit moody and try to act all hard. You know, that one guy that's always just sitting there smoking fags and doesn't really talk to you. In the back, you just see him out, and then he's always out, and then. But definitely, I think Reece Irwin would be there. He'd be the guy at the front talking to you.
Yeah,
he's got or not. Reece Irwin. Yeah, Reece Irwin, he's got that haircut. He looks like he's in college trying to make some more money so he can pay for his next fucking session of drink. That's what he looks like. So he's just doing a summer job flipping burgers and being really nice to general Joe public and giving out cups of tea.
Just
I nearly went with
though,
Tommy Bridewell.
Imagine, though, having Storm Stacey serving you chips with top hat on. Can't get posher than that, can you?
Yeah.
Why did you ask this?
Yeah, it's because he was talking shite in the field. Probably picking
potatoes.
potatoes.
Well, the first time I thought about it was whenever I was at Donington Park. I was walking up to Donington Park to get chips, and then I just thought, I just started thinking about it. And then the conversation came up the other day when I was standing in the field talking nonsense. Because the rain had come out, the classics had spilt some oil, we were all standing around getting drunk, and the banter just started flowing, and I just come out with this, and yeah, we were just talking about who we thought would be best. And
also, you call it a chip cart?
Chip
well,
van.
normally I'd call it a chippy.
Or a chip van?
Yeah, chip cart. Yeah, chip. No, I wouldn't call it chip van. Call it chip cart.
It a chip van.
I'd call it a chip van.
A chip van to me suggests something that moves of its own steam. Or it doesn't. It needs to be towed. It needs to be pulled.
I wouldn't call it a cart, though. I'd think of a cart as like a little sort of something just a bit bigger than a wheelbarrow.
So you call it a chip van?
I'd call it a chip van.
Yeah.
But it's not a van. It's not a van.
Well, it's not a cart, really, either.
Well, it's more a cart than it is a van. You hit pull into a cart.
Well, let's call it a chip trailer then. Let's just compromise on chip trailer.
Well, you call it a
we're
chippy,
pedantic.
I'd usually just call it a chippy.
No, I wouldn't call it a chippy because that's a building. That's a permanent building.
No, if it was just a permanent building as a chippy.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but if you're at
this is the BS part of the show, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about if it sold burgers? Would you call it a
burger van?
Call it a burger?
Yeah, burger van.
I would call it a burger van. But I wouldn't call it a chip van. I would call it a chip cart. I think it's because when it's written down, chip cart is alliterative because it's a CC, which means it's alliterative. It rolls better off the tongue.
See, when I said to the kids, should we go get a chippy? They genuinely straight away are like, "Oh, Chippy's coming around." I'm like, "No, we're going for Chippy. We're not going to Chippies. We're going for a Chippy." So there is a bit of confusion there because obviously they know him as Chippy.
Yeah, going down chip shop.
Yeah, I could just say chip shop.
I've heard people call it a chipper before. Going down the chipper.
Yeah, there's a place that the chip shop near me is called the Chipper. So
I think down south, well, I say down south, not now because I live in England, but in Ireland, Northern Ireland, down south, they call it a chipper. I've met a few guys from down in the south that call it a chipper. The first time I heard that, they're like, "Go down the chipper." I was like, "The what? The fucking wood chipper?" Way down there. Cutting up a few trees by. Anyway, that was just a bit of bullshit question I thought I'd throw out there.
Yes. It's quite a good one, though. I gave it some thought.
Well, that's the whole point. You were slagging me off for that question. It's actually what you think, and that's a good question, that. So we came to the conclusion that Reece Irwin should be serving chips. Have we got anything else to talk about? It feels like we just rattled through this.
I think
really quick.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, so while we got onto the socials, Ash, do you want to give us our socials? And make sure and mention a little bit about, whenever you're doing Twitter, just mention Twitter and...
It's not Twitter anymore. It's X.
X.
What?
Well, call it Twitter. Call it Twitter. Reference it's called X, and mention Threads because it's all the same.
X.
Or do you want me to do it?
You do it if you know what you're about. Fucking, I don't know what X is.
All right. Right, so we're going to give you a little rundown of our socials if you want to get in contact with us. I'm actually thinking next week we might do this at the start of the show so people can actually get in contact. So, if you want to contact us, the best way to do it is to send us an email. That would be absolutely fantastic. Emails are great, come straight to us and we can read them. podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk. Nice and simple. We have a YouTube page, which a lot of people are probably listening to us on now. So that's the Big Bad Bike Show. If you are listening to us on that, you don't really need to hear it, but you just did, so I don't really know what I'm saying. We've also got a Twitter, which is pretty much dead in the water now, to be honest. When's the last time anybody went on Twitter and used it? It's not even called Twitter now. It's called X. So what the fuck's going on there? Anyway, it's the Big Bad BS. We've got an Instagram, which is the Big Bad Bike Show. I've tried to posting that every now and again, but again, that's just kind of dead in the water. We've got the Big Bad Bike Show Facebook page, and we've got the Big Bad BS Facebook group. Find them by typing in Big Bad Bike Show or Big Bad BS. Now, we're on Twitter, X, and we're on Threads, and it's the same in each one of them. So our X is at Big Bad Biker, that's myself, and it's the same for Threads. Ash is the Up North Biker on Instagram, and it's the same on Threads. And Chippy is at MotoGP on X, and it's the same on Thread. I am never going to get used to calling it X.
It's stupid, isn't it?
Weird.
It's such a lack of a brand calling it X.
It's just
nothing.
Have you been on X recently? What?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Have you been reading X? Like, it would be alright if it was something X.
Yeah.
Like, social X. Have you been on social X? Actually, that's pretty good. I should brand that. Social X. Or X social. Have you been on X social?
Yeah.
That would be good. X social, because an X social is trying to break away from the other social medias. I hate fucking email Elon Musk. X social. Hang on to him. As do I.
Elon Tusk.
So that...
Correct.
Right, so that's our socials. That's our podcast, really. We don't really have anything else to say. Does anybody have anything else to say?
Yeah, I apologise for this one. It was a bit shite.
Yeah, it was a bit shite.
Yeah, it was.
It was a bit shit, to be honest. I think next week we're going to have to knuckle down and try and put in a decent podcast, because the last couple have been pretty poor.
Yeah, but it shows when we put a lack of effort into the prep, I think.
It really does. It really does show.
But what people also need to understand is we do have lives, so we are...
No, what people need to understand
That's
is
an
week in, week
excuse.
out. What people need to understand is week in, week out, I'm putting in all the effort for prepping. I'm on there in on the dock, setting everything up, making sure everything's right up. I take one weekend off because I go away. All just turn to shit. Just turn to shit.
Well, we need...
Ash tried to have a go and he can't even keep the races in the right order.
I'll just leave it next time.
Chip Hat just doesn't turn up for podcasts because he can't be bothered.
Yeah. Sam's back.
Sorry, I was working.
No, next week we do have to try and put in.
Yeah, we will.
Well, MotoGP's back next week, so we'll have a lot more to talk about. It's more exciting.
Right, that's probably a bad time to mention it next weekend. I'm going on a holiday. I've got to go on holiday with my family. I can't just not go on holiday with my family.
Where are you going?
And it's the weekend before my wife's birthday. I'm not telling people where I'm going on my holiday. Go away, I'm not telling you.
Right, well then,
People will be.
let's say
Do you know how famous I am? You know how famous I am? People will be stalking me if I tell them where I'm going on holiday.
I highly doubt
Right,
that.
Are you saying you're
let's
not
just
recording next week?
No, I am recording. I mean, I'm not going to be able to.
Watch
It
live?
might be the same as this week. I might struggle to watch live and do as much prep as I would like to do.
Oh.
So, pull your finger out next weekend, lads. I would actually like to have a good show.
Well, I'm on holiday now and I've got family here, so it's a bit difficult for me.
Ash.
I've got no excuse.
Right.
All right. Right. Well, good. We'll remember that. Right. On that note, it's time for us to say goodbye. So, Up North Biker, Ash Hall.
Ta-da!
At MotoGP, Chip Hat.
Goodbye.
I'm the Big Bad Biker. We're the Big Bad Bike Show. That's us for this evening. Sorry about this one. Goodbye.
Sup,